Welcome to Finance in Flow, helping CFOs building a smarter, more insightful, and more connected finance teams. I am your host today. I am Catalina Ibáñez Gutiérrez, Senior Consultant at Lucanet. In today's episode, we are diving into a topic that is transforming the finance function: automation in finance close and consolidation. With AI-powered tools overwhelming the CFO tech landscape, the challenge is not access, it's this discernment. What makes automation truly meaningful, and what should finance lead watch out for? To help us unpack this, I am joined by Patrick Van Gaelen, Head of Product Core and key voice shaping the future of finance technology. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you, Catalina.
So, Patrick, let's start with the big picture. Where is driving the momentum in automation tools like CFP for CFOs and finance teams?
Of course, we're currently in the environment or in the area of AI. So AI will definitely is also a part of that as a mean to that automation. But diving into the details, automation in a consolidation platform starts with actually collecting your data. And good automation is that if you're collecting your data or importing data, that there are validation rules on top of it. So in order, a very simple validation rule in finance is, of course, debits and credits. Do they equal? Do they balance? Bad automation would be that if you're importing data as such and you don't care about those debits and credits, because it might give you already an indication that the automation, the stuff that is being automated is not correct actually. And so that's for me the big distinction between good and bad automation. That's one thing. The other thing is the black box. What often happens is that, and especially also within consolidation, a nice consolidation tool would be the consolidation tool where I'm pushing the button, all the eliminations are being calculated and are being posted. Now, what typically a consolidation manager would like to see, of course, is how it is calculated. So opening the black box is also helping, of course, to improve the acceptance of automation.
Thank you for giving those good examples of bad and good automation. So we often heard about automation will save us hours, but there is a broader spectrum of that. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So actually, if you hear that, a lot of people are getting afraid a bit. Is my job gonna disappear? So what happens is not that it's a shift of hours. And what do I mean by that? It's a shift in what you're doing with saved hours. Before you were doing something silly, maybe number crunching, something that doesn't add much value. But if you can shift it in a more strategic role or in a more strategic job, meaning reviewing stuff, meaning telling the story also about the figures. If you're importing data and you're consolidating, the figures as such doesn't tell any much. It's data. And you have to transform that data into information. And therefore, still the human being is important. However, also AI can help you with drafting that story, but you would like to review it. The human in the loop is always very important. But so to say, it will shift the type of work within environments, also in finance, also in the consolidation environment, yes.
And with so many options out there, how can CFOs evaluate and select the right tools? What criteria should they prioritize?
Yeah. I once heard a story of someone who was an investor in a lot of finance companies. And he told me the story like what I'm always saying to the people or to the CFOs of the companies I'm invested in is, why doing those huge RFPs, requests for proposals, doing a huge a project around what are the tools that are in the market, do they fit to what I'm doing? Instead of that, he advised actually, look at your peers, look within your industry, what your peers are doing. Are they implementing a certain tool for a certain ERP tool? And if you see that the majority within your industry is doing that, why wouldn't you do it then? So it's a difficult question, I would say. It depends. I mean, how to choose for a tool? I would look at my peers, really. Yeah.
And any advice for finance lead on their automation journey?
On the automation journey, I think, of course, you are looking for tools that have that good automation. Question is, what could be the as a CFO, your key point to say like, okay, this is good, this is not good. What I would say, of course, there's a lot of evolution in tools, and what we see now is that SaaS is really a requirement, software as a service. And we had the example, we still have our clients that are doing their stuff on premise, having our softwares being implemented on premise. And one of our clients had a cyber attack, and they lost all their data, which in a SaaS environment, although people are thinking like it's in the cloud there, it's not secure. Of course, those SaaS environments are built up with a lot of security layers, and they are much more secure than you would do it on your own on the on-prem environment. So I would say, firstly, look for SaaS to be sure that you don't run into risk where suddenly in the morning you wake up and there was a cyber attack and you lost all your data. That's the worst thing what could happen. And sometimes you cannot even recuperate the data, or you have to pay a lot of money to hackers. I mean, yeah. So absolutely go for SaaS and make sure that your data is in good hands.
So let's look ahead, and there is a word or two words that are coming up, and this is continuous accounting. Yeah. So I think we should probably explain that concept for maybe anyone that heard that for the first time. So essentially, continuous accounting means moving away from those traditional months end or quarter end closing cycles to processing and reconciling transaction in real time. Yeah, as they happen in real time. This approach, together with real-time data, is becoming mainstream. But Patrick, what does it mean for finance teams?
It has a lot of impact. Of course, there is always a journey towards a continuous accounting, and in essence, it means that you are closing daily. So as you were saying in the beginning, it's not about a month-end close, a quarterly close, where you are waiting, and it's kind of, sometimes it's kind of ridiculous that you're waiting until you start your month-end close process. No, you're already thinking now about what would I need to do continuously to make sure that if today I take a picture of my company, that it's up to date. So meaning for that you will need automation. I mean, if you coming in the morning and having to enter all the bank statements, whereas they could have been imported, for example, that's already time one for other activities, meaning to make sure that you're close, that you can review. Also, for example, to give an example, what is very difficult and where a lot of people are looking at is at the gross margin. And they're waiting for that until the end of the month, and they see a gross margin that is completely off compared to prior months. They start analyzing why. But that maybe if you have a good tool, a good solution, can already be highlighted during the day. There is a revenue, we sold something, we're recognizing the revenue, but is the cost of goods sold also recognized, and is it completely recognized? Do I see any anomalies compared to my normal gross margin? Are there outliers? And that would be, in order to get to that continuous accounting and continuous closing, are activities which you need to do every day, actually. So it's the review. Don't wait until the end of the month, but reviewing it during your day-to-day work would already help a lot. And of course, tools can help there. And That's with the automation with AI can do a lot, because AI can look into data, find strange algorithms, and highlighting to you on a dashboard that you see, oh, okay, there is something strange, dive into it and solve it immediately, and don't wait until the end of the month.
So it's not correct to say that continuous accounting is an automation. We need automation for continuous accounting, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely, you need that automation in order to be able to continuously account and to continuously be able to report accurate figures.
Do you have like an example of what could be, for example, for one automation that could help? One good automation that could help in continuous accounting?
Absolutely. I have the idea. To give an example, like intercompany, I'm sending you an invoice. If I'm sending you an invoice, it will be registered in my transactions of that day. Why not, instead of waiting until a few days later and then see in your intercompany reconciliation overview that there is a difference because the invoice I've sent apparently didn't reach you? Maybe it's lying on the desk of someone. Why not having a tool that highlights that to you? Hey, today Patrick has sent you an invoice. Be aware that the invoice is underway, and make sure that if you don't see it appearing in your figures within 1 or 2 days, that you're chasing after it, that you maybe contact me and say like, oh, can I have a copy of the invoice, in order to assure that you don't have intercompany differences. And that is typically stuff that an AI tool can do. Go through transactions, see what is missing, and already highlighting to you on a dashboard, meaning like if you're opening your software, your platform for the office of the CFO, you're opening it, and that you immediately see all those exceptions that need to be solved in order to assure that your continuous accounting and continuous closing can be happening, and that you have accurate figures to report.
I think that's a really great example, and one that could be really useful for many CFOs office. And what could be one example that is not a good automation in accounting, in continuous accounting?
Oh, in continuous accounting, I mean, it is still, I mean, a lot of companies are, and a lot of our colleagues, software vendors, are busy exploring for solutions of that. We're not there yet, that I have to admit as well. It's the future. There's definitely a need for that. And since we are building software for our customers, not for the sake of ourselves or to be proud or so, it's just we need to build something that helps our clients. We hear that there is a need, so we are really still in the ideation phase of how to do that. That's also one of my buzz words. Maybe it's like being approximately right or exactly wrong. And what do I mean by that? If an accountant always want to be precise, but in essence is exactly wrong. I mean, you don't get 100% accuracy. So you will learn to have to live with a portion of being off. But the important thing is that you see the direction, that you see where we're heading at. We had a plan, or we delivering according to that plan, and therefore you don't need the exact precise figures up until the second digit behind the comma. You really need to have information that helps you driving your company. So bad automation would be an automation that is willing to reach that 100% accuracy. I don't see it happening, and most of the time those automations are really those black box automations where you don't really see any, you don't have any control over anymore. Yeah.
So, and how can we balance tech adaptation with team empowerment? Because one thing is the software, but the other one is what the people really are doing.
Yeah, actually, it's and it's change. I mean, New technology, if you look and we go back until 1800s, there's the people were thinking like, oops, we're gonna have a steam train. The cows are not gonna give any milk anymore. I mean, and there also the farmers had to be informed like, it's not gonna happen, don't worry about it, and see after a certain period of time your cows still give the same amount of liters of milk as it was before. So it has to do with change. You have to be open, you have to be clear about the goals, and you have to, how would I say, you have to repeat a lot to get it in the mind of the people. And yeah, it's almost like selling. You need to make sure that you have the people at your side and that they are also becoming enthusiastic and also see the advantages of that change, and maybe that their jobs are becoming much more interesting, that they can add much more value to the company in what they're doing or what they will do in the future compared what they're doing now. And that's how we tackle it. Yeah, I mean, it's change management.
Change management, culture, and leadership, I would say, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Culture of
Absolutely.
adaptation and culture of new things, so to
Yeah.
say. And I think I have right now here a question that comes to my mind that could be the question of the hour. So is this that? How to build AI in the finance workflow?
Yeah. I think you know my opinion on it about AI. AI for me is never a strategy. For me, I'm always starting, and that's because I'm working in product, of course. I'm always starting with a problem statement. A problem statement that a customer is telling me, like, I have this issue, please find a solution for it. And then the next step is analyzing the issue and thinking about solutions. And of course, there AI can come into play also in trying to find solutions, which is the funny thing. Me, as a product manager, I'm also using AI and using AI almost as my coach, mirror, lady or guy to talk to see, to check also a little bit like what I'm thinking here. Does it make sense? Yes or no? Or at least give me a structure in how to solve a problem. But having said that, if you then see your problem statement and then come up with a solution, AI is a mean. What do I mean by that? AI is a way that can be a solution, but always make that distinction between deterministic and probabilistic. If you're, for example, if in consolidation, it's pretty deterministic. What do I mean by that? It's pretty exact. There is something happening within our group. We bought a new company, meaning that has been booked in the holding company on the asset side. There is something happening, a trigger. And that creates a calculation. A calculation meaning a posting and a calculation. You need to calculate goodwill on top. How is it? It's very precise technically. It can be almost done via formulas. Doing that via AI wouldn't be the smartest thing to do because AI is not that cheap. It can be very expensive, and if you repeatedly are asking the same question to AI, it costs you tokens. And sometimes those deterministic things are repeating stuff that is happening, and you perfectly could program it. And therefore, I wouldn't go for AI. AI, however, is very good in organizing work, in creating a workflow for you. If you think about, suppose that continuous accounting doesn't exist and that we are still doing it via a month-end close, that would be a perfect example of where AI could help you, meaning creating the workflow, a logical workflow of tasks that need to be done. And if someone is, for example, someone falls ill, to reshuffle the planning. And these are typical things where AI can help you quite a lot. Another example is I have my data. I have my budget data, I have my actuals after consolidation. I would like AI to help me tell the story about those figures. What do you see? Where does it come from? What action can I do to mitigate it in the future? These are typical examples of AI. So AI has is how would I say it's very powerful, but in certain areas, not in anything.
Yeah, I think it's just a necessary question to ask, right? Because everyone is kind of asking of how AI can also help as well in consolidation, right? The consolidation of data. But I think is AI should be a way to solve basically problems or to help us with something that is keeping up to working extra hours, right? But not to do the work basically on the background, right? Because it could
Where I
be.
where I see AI really help in consolidation is in setting up the first consolidation. Meaning, for example, you have an organigram somewhere on even a sheet of paper, you scan it, and that AI reads it and transforms it in your reporting entities that need to be set up in your software, and that it does it automatically, even if there is percentage of ownership in between certain companies, that it also creates those basic structures already into your software. But doing the actual consolidation, I will have to see. There are maybe areas, and also AI is improving. If 1 year ago I asked 15 multiplied by 12, you didn't get the exact answer. It was approximately right. If you do it now, you will get an exact answer, but it didn't know what to do. Do I have to multiply it according to a certain system?
You need to give them the really coordinates to AI to in order to respond, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess is you need to give
yeah.
the real data. But so again, so a similar question that I asked before, can we say that AI is an automation?
I don't think AI is an automation. It can help you automate. It's really it's AI. I see it as any other tool that can help, but has its flaws and has its strengths. There are a lot of companies that are purely agentic AI, but I'm wondering and questioning whether they are really purely 100% agentic AI. I doubt it, to be honest. Um, there is maybe an orchestrator on top of things, but I think also that there is in the software still things that are deterministically being programmed and not fully AI. But it's, yeah, you have to go with the flow, make sure that you are not behind compared to your competitors, and also AI has a lot of applications which are very, 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 very useful and also very impressive, I have to say. Especially in day-to-day life, if you see,
Mhm.
and also if you are discussing or having a conversation with your AI counterparty, so to say, it's amazing what results you're getting. If you think about not even that long ago, maybe a year ago, after summer, and I was doing requirements or ideas or whatever, or trying to create structure in a certain process, you were thinking a few days about it and then putting it on paper, and now it happens within a few minutes. You review it, and it gives you a basis to work further on, and you really can improve the quality also of your own thinking due to AI. It's amazing for me. Yeah.
Go beyond, yes, yes. A lot of questions there as well, but yeah. So, if I will tell you to give me three ingredients for a good automation, what will be that?
Um,
If you want to add more than three, that's
no,
fine.
no, 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 no. Oh, if you want to have good ingredients of good automation, for me, validation is one. It's an ingredient so that you as a user get that it's validated what is happening in the automation. That's one thing. I would concentrate my automation on where a lot of transactions are being involved. And a good example is importing your data from an ERP. Can be millions of lines, automating that overnight, that you don't lose time. These are typical things. So time saving, it needs to be, and not that you have to add time on top due to that you need to review. So in order to avoid that, you need validation. That helps you, and especially also, opening the black box. I still am emphasizing on that, is that you understand what is happening underneath the hood, actually. What is bad automation is
Also, if we can have a recipe as well.
I think bad automation is also automation. If it's not flexible, your automation, that you cannot drive it in a certain way, would be also bad automation, because then you're stuck, and it's not scalable, it's not future proof anymore. Then you have to assess your automation and maybe redevelop it. So that would be very bad automation. What else? Poor error handling. So what do I mean by that? If you have a process that is automated and it runs into an error, you can have a choice. Or stop it, or say, okay, highlight the error, but continue. And sometimes it's annoying if it stops, that you have to relaunch it after you think you've solved the error, and then after a few minutes see like, it's another error, or the same error, or it didn't get solved. So poor error handling is also something that can drive into bad automation. And it's again about opening the black box. If there is an error, that it highlights you what is the error and what is the cause that your automation ran into troubles, so that you really are informed in a good way in order to be able to do to solve that error, actually. It makes me also think about our consolidation software. If we're importing there, typically in consolidation, you're importing data, you need to have an assignment table in between. Most of our competitors, what are they doing? They're importing, and then it runs in an error because there is an assignment missing, and it tells you this assignment is missing. Then you're adjusting your assignment table, and you then have to redo your import. Whereas in Lucanet, it doesn't run into error. It asks you during the import to assign, meaning that you don't have to prepare it up front. And that's really, for me, it's really an absolute USP of our software, that you are not being blocked and not getting, because blocking is frustrating, makes you frustrated, like, now I have to redo all my work all over again because there was been a new account being created by one of the people in accounting without telling me, and not having adjusted your assignment table. But their AI can help as well, and that we were thinking about automatic assignment, because it's typically you have an accountant description, and that's typically something where AI is good thing. It's a language model, so it understands language and can reason to say, like, okay, if I here see petrol, most probably it'll be car expenses. So let's map it automatically under the car expenses.
And learn as well.
Yeah.
So now we have like a time for a quick round rapid questions. Are you ready for that? Just say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So first question will be, one automation tool you swear by.
My coffee machine.
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree.
Because I have 15 choices of coffees, and it does it automatically for me. I only have to touch the right button, and a flat white comes out, or a straight coffee, or an Americano, or whatever I would like to have. Yeah.
I hope that is your coffee machine is not a black box.
I had to open it once to repair it. So then I understood that a coffee machine is a grinder, a boiler to heat my coffee, and it has to pressure it through my coffee. So it's three machines in one, actually.
So
Yeah.
it's a good automation,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So big red flag when evaluating a new tech solution.
A big red flag when I'm evaluating tech solutions is promising the heaven.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one as well. Yeah. Yeah. That can be so frustrating to customers. I can tell that as a consultant,
so
basically.
that's
When
the over promising of sales, and then we have to, and then delivery afterwards has to deliver it. So I'm very cautious always with, especially when you're asking questions, and when they're saying like always yes, yeah, of course we can do that. That's not a problem for us. Of course we can, and then knowing already like,
not too honest, right?
yeah, then
Yeah.
you need to ask the question how. I mean, how can you solve it? And please demo it to me. Please tell me. Yeah,
And because we talk about also about human empowerment, one skill every finance lead needs to in this age of AI needs to know or needs to have.
oh, that's a very good question, and that's throughout humanity. People are thinking about IQ, but it's EQ. And EQ is real intelligence. IQ is intelligent, but not intelligence. And emotional intelligence is always important to me. We're working for companies, and the etymology of company is doing things together. And we're always with a group of people together, and have to, we're all different, but we only have one goal, and that's making our company a success. And that helps already. That helps already. So I'm always, when I'm hiring people, also looking for very empathic and people with a high EQ instead of a high IQ. Yeah,
Really important also in a tech environment, right?
absolutely.
You have this
Absolutely.
sense of human, yeah.
And more important, because also in development, it's a mixture of people. You have the product people, delivery people, and the engineers, and at the end of the day, they have one common goal, and that's to deliver a product that kicks the ass of our clients and really says like, wow, this is the product I needed. Yeah.
And I think is so important as well what you said, because also in age of AI, because you need also to have kind of this intelligence to also measure what AI is telling you to do also, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. AI keeps on hallucinating, and
Yeah.
you cannot blame AI for that. Most of the time, you have to blame yourself because you didn't give the correct context. But
Yeah.
it is indeed, you have to have the intelligence to see what it comes with, whether it's real, it's reality. And one of the extreme people in the world was Jeff Bezos. When he, you know that in our company we're doing that as well, document-driven meetings. And when he was reading a sentence, he was always saying this is not true in his mind. And that makes you a good challenger, actually, because if you read a sentence, say it's not true, is it true what is said here? Is it really true? And that's, yeah, a nice principle as well, to improve the quality of what is being delivered in your company, really questioning, is it really what we think it's meant for?
Yeah. Definitely a good thing. So I have one last question, rapid one. If it's not rapid answer, no worries. But most exciting trend in finance right now. I'm really excited of hear your answer.
The most exciting trend in finance right now for me is absolutely that we were discussing about that continuous accounting and continuous closing. I'm an old guy. I used to work in finance as well for more than 20 years before I changed into the role of being an implementer of a tool and then afterwards being in product. I'm wondering how that would really work. And there, I think we have to do compromises. As I was saying with the exactly wrong and you're approximately right, you have to do compromises. That on a daily closing, it should be a goal to be as correct as possible or to be as accurate as possible. But I think there's still a long way to go. Still a long way to go. But an interesting one that I have to admit as well. Yeah.
I don't know why I knew your answer. Yeah. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, I want to give you some key takeaways that we think that finance leads should be keep in mind. So first, when automation is done right, it should be feel almost invisible. You are getting time back, your numbers are more accurate, and everything just flow together naturally. But here, there is a crucial part. It should be never become a black box, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't have idea what is happening behind the scenes. So good automation, keep informed every step on the way. And second, I know it is tempting to think that complex problems need complex solutions, but honestly, simple wins every time. And remember, I think this is something really important for today's conversation. AI should not be your strategy. AI should be a really powerful tool to solve whatever is keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
On the flip side, bad automation, it is like hiring someone who creates more work than they actually do. So if it is not scalable, it is not sustainable. And for our fellow CFOs out there, uh, we just need to get better of cutting through the marketing noise, right? Build yourself framework to evaluate those tools based on real impact. We also talk about continuous accounting and how it is fundamentally changing the game of finance teams. And most importantly, tech adaptation must go hand in hand with team empowerment. So you can success with one without the other. Here we come to the end of Finance in Flow. Thanks again, Patrick, for joining us today. It was an amazing conversation
Thank you.
and sharing such valuable insights. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to subscribe, share it with your network, and leave us a review. We will be back in 2 weeks with another episode exploring the future of finance. Until then, keep leading with insight and innovation. See you in one of the next episodes.
This episode is brought to you by Lucanet, the CFO solution platform for future-ready finance leaders. Reimagine the way your finance team works with fully integrated workflows and enterprise-grade solutions for all your jobs to be done. From planning and consolidation to reporting, Lucanet connects people, data, and plans into a single source of truth, helping you deliver insights faster and with less complexity. Trusted by leading brands like Allianz, Bayer, Volkswagen, and Trivago, Lucanet empowers finance teams around the world to scale smarter. Learn more at lucanet.com.